you for joining us for this week's version of the watch list. We are going to be reviewing essentially the They Will Kill You this week. Jarron and I both went and saw that. If you are just joining us for the first time this week, my name is Dan. This is Jarron over here. He is my co-host for the show. And yeah, we're going to be talking about They Will Kill You today. Jarron, what did you think of They Will Kill You?
First off, I went into this kind of with just no expectations, just nothing, kind of like open mind, just no thoughts of what it was gonna be. I don't know. It was nothing like I expected it to be. I'll be honest. I'll put it like that. Like it had a lot of just different. It took from like all types of genres. It felt like you had a little bit of like action, almost like some anime aspects of it. It just took from every genre, and I don't know, like it drags at points, but I thought it was a pretty good film overall.
Yeah, you compared it to Kill Bill.
I mean, like
you compared it a bit to you compared it a bit to Kill Bill when we were initially talking before we came on.
The reason I gave it the Kill Bill kind of comparison is just like that over the top. You get a death or a kill scene, and then you see the blood just go everywhere, and it's just that over the top violence and gore that those types of like those Tarantino movies usually have. And you can obviously see he takes some like homage to those types of movies, which I liked a lot.
Yeah, it does give off very much Kill Bill vibes, and yeah, this film is very violent.
Oh yeah,
it is
very ultra violent.
Yeah, and I think they used quite a bit of practical effects in this, or at least there were some practical effects in there for this film.
No, yeah, I know. Early on, those first couple fight scenes you get, the one that sticks out that they show a couple of scenes in the trailer, that first initial bedroom fight scene was just, I don't know, it was done so well. The cuts and the times when they would linger on like a one shot, and it was clean. And I don't know, I really liked how all the fight choreography, they kind of went away from it later on in the film, which I don't think was a good idea. But overall, like I said, like the first 2/3 of the movie and those fights are just very well thought out and just clean and crisp, and it's just nice to watch.
The first fight is very much probably the best fight scene that's probably in the film, because it does, after that first fight scene, it does drag for a little bit, and it is noticeable. Now, you went into this film with pretty much zero expectations.
Yes.
I went in this film not knowing what to expect. I don't usually watch a lot of the trailers.
No, yeah,
because I like to go into the only time I'll usually watch a trailer is usually when we're going and we're looking at a movie.
Yep.
So I went into this and saw it was like a horror comedy, and I was like, I don't do well with horror. I am very much a chicken.
Yeah, no,
so,
I'm the same way.
But with that being said, there was nothing in this film for me that really had me like, because for a horror film, I will slouch and I will crouch and I will bury into my seat
I get
like
that,
a coward.
No, I'm like, yeah, there wasn't. I'd almost say it was more just like a comedy.
It's very slapstick.
Yeah, just like an action comedy. Like, yeah, there's some like. Honestly, all the horror was really in that opening act one. Like, don't want to like get into too many spoilers. But, like act one, like there's like one scene where somebody's kind of just being watched, and it's a really creepy like way of shooting it. Like, you got somebody in the walls watching somebody, and you're just kind of like, okay, that's a little sketchy. And then like he crawls out of the wall and stuff, does some creepy stuff, and like that is creepy. But then basically once you like get past that, and then the fight scene happens, there's really no more horror aspects. I mean, it deals with like the main villains are like, they're technically like horrible people, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
like,
they're not.
But I mean, it's not like there's not really too many like jump scares or like your typical horror movie.
No, it's not really a frightening movie. If you want to go into this with horror in mind, it's not really horror, and there's not even really many. I think there's maybe one scene near the end of the film that could be constituted as like horror-esque, and I wouldn't even say it's really like a very horrifying scene. It's just kind of like a, oh, that's a little uncanny and creepy.
Yeah, it's more almost just like shock value.
Yeah,
Which, like,
it's fair.
a lot of horror movies nowadays do that with like the shock value.
Yep.
Like, oh, let's kill someone in the most brutal way possible for the shock value, which it works. It
Yep.
works. I'm fine with it. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, the horror aspects do just really fall off. Labeling it a horror comedy was just a little I don't know, just unorthodox, I'd say.
It's more like a gore comedy.
Yeah, I'd say it's almost just like an action comedy or like I don't know, a hyper action comedy.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Now, did you feel any tension in this film at all? Because I felt nothing. I felt no tension during the film.
Early on, there was like the first 2 acts I liked it because I thought there was tension, at least with our main character. I thought which is played by Zazie Beetz, who I thought does an excellent job.
Oh yeah, she does really good.
Like, the fight choreography and all that, was very surprised. But yeah, like early on, you can definitely like there's a little bit of like a tension, like okay, you know, you might probably gonna die here, trying to find somebody, and yeah, you want to make it out alive, but like you're not wrong. Once you get to the main spoiler of the film, it does tend to lose almost all the tension, which is just a little sad. It's just a lot to think. You know, I mean, I'm just not too happy with how they ended that. Really,
Yeah.
I thought they could have just ended it a little better, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was a little, yeah. I mean, what were your thoughts? Like, do you think the tension really was?
So, like I said, I'm a coward when it comes to any of those types of films.
Mm-hmm.
And it really much kind of freaks me out, but I did not feel any slight of tension at all.
Okay.
So for me, it was mostly just kind of like I'm just kind of there. And I didn't really feel anything in regards to it at all. So for me, it was just kind of like I'm just kind of there.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand that.
There's some scenes at the beginning of the film where I do agree, where I do think that there's that little bit of tension.
Mm-hmm.
But I think after like that first initial fight scene,
yep,
I think it kind of takes a hit. And I think it kind of, because I feel like they try to do a lot in this film. I feel like they try to do a lot of horror stuff. I feel like they try to do a lot of like the comedy aspect.
Yeah.
They try to throw in like plot stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like there's a lot that they're throwing at you, and I don't really think it all hits. It feels like they should have leaned in a direction and went like, not really to get like into spoilers or anything, but like we talked earlier about like the film being like slapstick. Like there's scenes where you have just weird Looney Tunes-esque sound effects in this film. You have a guy get stepped on and he squeaks like a rubber duck.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I mean, it made me chuckle a little bit, but
like nothing in the film, at least for me, I don't know about you, made me like really just like laugh.
Yeah, there wasn't really anything. I mean, the only time I would really like give like like it'd be almost like the shock value, like early on when you see one of like the characters get their head cut off.
Yeah.
And then he just comes out later, right? And you're like, oh, it's a little weird, right? And it's like it's a lot of cheap comedies, I would say.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with you. Like that was one of my main things, was that this movie struggles to pick a lane.
Yeah.
There is no, like I said, it's a nice thing when like you take all those things and you take things from other genres, horror, comedy, and you make homages to other people too, which like I'm totally fine with that. It's just you need to have an end goal in mind, and I don't, like we talked about, the ending of this movie just is the third act in general is a little lackluster in my opinion. It loses its steam. You lose all the tension that you had because of the stipulations they bring in.
Yep.
Which, I mean,
it's I don't know about you, but for me it was kind of a predictable. And like when you start to like, I think like once you get to like the middle of the film,
Oh yeah.
you can kind of be like, okay, this is the route that we're going with this.
Yeah, I mean,
Which
yeah.
kind of stinks because you're like, okay, and also, it just kind of gets to a point where you're like, there's not really many ways you can end this with kind of the stipulations for the film that they've set up.
For sure, and I understand that, and that's where I think they needed to rein in this story a little more. And like, I'll be honest, like the villains and that type of aspect, it's like, I get it, but it's also just, I don't know, I'm not a, it's kind of a boring one in my eyes.
Yeah.
A little like lackluster, I want to say, but.
I don't think I could tell you the villains' names at all.
Oh well, I mean,
like,
there's one other thing I have nitpicked about. One of the main villains, Patricia Arquette's character, she puts on the accent that she's giving is, I don't know, because half the time she's speaking with this German accent and like ending things with like a German or like Norwegian-esque accent, and then the next scene she's totally talking normal again, and she's talking like she normally does. It's just like what? I don't know. It was really
the accent.
It was annoying.
The accent flips and switches a lot, and I don't know if you noticed that, but I think there's scenes where they actually went back and redubbed it, and I think there's scenes where you can really tell, and it's very off-putting because I remember I can't remember what scene it was, but there was a scene in the film where I was looking, and it didn't match up, and I was like, what the heck happened here?
No, like I said, the accents, they should have just scrapped them from the beginning. I don't know if they had like, it was gonna be like some old demon-esque thing from like folk legend or something like that originally, and that's why they were going with like the more like German-esque like folkloric accent. But like, you just like randomly catch like just a German undertone that you're like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
And then she just talks normal, and you're like, oh.
It's a very flip-floppy thing.
Yeah.
And it's very weird and off-putting.
Mm-hmm.
But like, is there anything else that you liked or just really like disliked about the film?
I mean, in all honesty, like, the one thing I liked the most about it is that it, like, don't get me wrong, it dragged, but it's only an hour and 34 minutes. So like, they knew they didn't have that much, and they knew they needed to keep it like short and sweet, which is what I really appreciate, because a lot of movies nowadays that are not that good, they'll just stretch it and try and like make up for like, oh, this is gonna be really good plot points right here, and it's just it's just boring.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that they didn't really like. I mean, yeah, it drug at points, but like, you needed that.
Yeah. The action scenes in this film are very good.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I did like.
Not as good as like the beginning.
Oh. No.
Action scene. But they do some creative stuff in this film with action, but there's also some stuff in the action film that takes me out of the film that comes off as like really cheesy.
I mean, when you have somebody with a flaming axe and they hit somebody and then they fly 20 feet back. I mean, yeah, it's a little. You're left a little bit like, whoa,
Yeah.
that I didn't realize you could do that.
Now, usually usually, at least what we started like last week, is we'll usually talk about like how your theater experience was. Yeah. Now, how was your like theater experience in the film? Because I feel like usually people want to go and they want to get that theater experience, and they want to know how the interaction is. So, what was your interaction in the theater like?
I went at, like, I always go early.
Yep.
Because I go before work, and like I went at 11:30, and it was like full. I was taken aback. I walk in and there's like a bunch of people. I'm like, what the heck? Like, because I'll be honest, I didn't expect a lot of people to be going to see They Will Kill You right after you hear all the stuff about Project Hail Mary, and then of course, people might be waiting to go see the next movie that we're about to talk to next week. And like, there's just, I didn't expect that a lot of people there. Also, a lot of older people. I didn't expect a lot of older people to be into a hyper-violent comedy. But hey man, whatever floats your boat, I guess.
See, I went, because what day did you go to the film?
I went.
Because I think you went on Friday, right?
Yes,
you went on Friday morning.
Yep.
And I went Friday night. I went Friday night at I think like 8. Mm-hmm. And I thought that my theater was going to be packed because 8 p.m. It's right before the weekend.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, I had I think 3 people in my. I had 3 people in my theater, and
See, that's what I thought I was gonna have.
And that theater was quiet as a mouse. I didn't hear a chuckle. I didn't hear a laugh. I didn't hear a guffaw. I heard nothing. And I was like, oh, I wonder how the rest of the film is going to go. And I think as of now, the film's down to 2 showings. It's
Yeah, no, I'll be honest. If I wasn't able to, if I didn't go on Friday, I wouldn't have been able to see this movie before today. So it's definitely a limited showing, which right now, there's not too many movies out there that are getting these bigger showings.
No.
Because early on in the year, you usually don't get big blockbuster movies like we're about to get. But
this film also hit at the worst time because I think Ready or Not 2 was supposed to come out after it, and it got pushed forward.
Yep.
So anyone that would have probably been interested in this probably went to see Ready or Not 2 already.
Yeah.
Then you have Project Hail Mary, which came out last week.
Which is doing numbers right now.
Which is doing big numbers, which it won't be everyone's type of movie.
No,
but then you have this hyper gore comedy that it looks like it's a kind of a budget type of film.
No, yeah.
And then you have two other movies that are releasing next week that we're going to talk about and get into. And yeah, it just falls into the worst segment of where it could be viewed.
It really did. And they also they obviously didn't spend much on the marketing because I haven't really seen hardly any commercials for it. We work at a TV station. I don't really see any commercials for it. And yeah, I don't know, because it stinks because you want to see I want to see movies do well in theaters. It's fun. I like watching new movies and seeing all these different things come to screen. But when you don't market it well, or you don't and you kind of put it between 2 buzzsaws.
Yep.
You're asking to do poorly.
Yep.
Right.
Well, before we get into kind of the movies that are releasing kind of within the week here, do you think this is a movie that people should go see in theaters, if they should wait for it to come out on streaming, or do you think that they could probably just kind of skip this movie altogether?
If you want something different, go see the movie. If you want something completely different, yeah, go see the movie. If this isn't your cup of tea, probably don't see it. I'll be honest. You probably won't like it that much. But if you want something different and you want to go to the movies, go see this one.
Yeah,
Why not?
I think you could probably wait and watch it on streaming.
Probably.
I do think if you watch it with friends, you'll have a much better time.
Oh, for sure.
This would be a fun movie with friends. I do think it's probably better off for streaming. With the type of movies that are currently coming out, I don't know if I would want to spend almost $18 to go see this film again.
You're not wrong there. Yeah, I can totally see where this isn't for everybody. But if you do want to go to the movies and you want to go see a movie, see this one.
And you want something unique and different.
Yeah, exactly.
That's definitely something you could do. But if you're not itching to go out and see the movies right now, or you already saw a movie, you're not going to miss much if you wait for this to come out on streaming, to be honest.
Probably not.
But with that being said, let's get into kind of what movies are releasing within the fall this week here. We've got the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which is going to be coming out on April 1st. We've got the drama that is going to be coming out as well. We've got A Great Awakening, and we have got a foreign film that we'll be releasing, which is called Rakasa. All these films are going to be releasing within essentially the week here, April 1st, and then the next 3 are all going to be releasing on April 3rd.
Yep.
Now, the movie that we are going to be reviewing that I'm actually going to go see tonight,
yep,
and that we'll be talking about next week, is we're actually going to be talking about the Super Mario Galaxy movie here. So that is going to be the movie that we're going to talk about next week. Now, Jarron, are you going to be able to actually go to an animated film? Because you do not like to go to animated films.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't like going to just kids films by myself. It's a little weird. But I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go see this. I haven't even seen the first one yet. I'm kind of excited to watch that one.
Yeah, you're watching that
Sometime this weekend. Yeah.
Sometime over your weekend.
Yep, I
and
will
then
be seeing that, and then I'll be all ready for the new one.
Yeah.
Although I have been seeing some reviews early, and it's very, very, very mixed reviews, which I was very surprised about.
Yeah, and since we're gonna be talking about that next week, we're probably gonna have a lot to talk about that because, anything else you want to kind of touch on before we kind of head out here?
I'd say just, I don't know, go out there and see Super Mario Galaxy. I'll probably try and watch the drama as well, and I'll maybe give some quick thoughts on that too next week.
Yeah, well, because if you're doing that, I'll also end up going to see that. So
yeah.
If we get to that, we'll also give some quick thoughts on the drama as well. But otherwise, that'll do it for us, and thank you guys for tuning in and joining us on this week's digital segment of the Watch List.